Tony Awards are a celebration of one of New York City's most prominent tourist attractions, but in recent years, Broadway's biggest night has also been a banner night for Boston. That trend continued last night as the award for Best Play went to All the Way, the story of LBJ's struggle to push through the Civil Rights Act.
What a journey this has been, from the Oregon Shakespeare Festival to Boston American Repertory Theater and to Broadway. What a thrill to bring this American story, our story, to the Broadway stage of passion, power, and politics.
All right, WGBH News arts editor Jared Bowen joins us now with a take on last night's Tonys. So this is coming kind of routine for the ART, isn't it?
It really is. We first saw it a few. Well, I think that Diane Paulus, as the artistic director, set the benchmark when Her Hair won Best Revival, and then her Porgy and Bess won Best Revival, and then sending Pippin to win the Tony for Best Revival last year, and Glass Menagerie and All the Way both up for Best Play last night at the Tonys. I mean, the American Repertory Theater is now a pipeline to Broadway. It's sort of turning Boston back into a tryout town in some regard.
Mm-hmm. So how significant was the win for Audra McDonald? Of course, she was the star in Porgy and Bess, too. Well,
it's hugely significant because she now has 6 Tony Awards. This makes her the winningest actress in Broadway history, and it's remarkable because she's only in her mid-40s. So to be so honored, and she's also the exception in that she's been honored in all 4 acting categories, both supporting and lead roles in straight plays and musicals. And it's a fantastic accomplishment for her. And she is somebody who I met just a couple of years ago and interviewed when she was here for Porgy and Bess, for which she won another one of her Tonys. And I was struck then, despite somebody who had already been a Tony winner and is now the ultimate winner, sort of her modesty, as we'll see here from when I spoke with her from our piece. How much of your own personal connection do you find to Bess?
Struggling with self-worth. Most definitely, I can identify with that.
So that's why I think it becomes all the more poignant for Audra McDonald when you realize that she has this incredible modesty and is constantly thinking about her craft and has taken nothing for granted despite being so honored. It makes it wonderful.
Her speech last night was so great, too.
So moving. And she always has her daughter with her, which is just charming. And you can see that her daughter really is one of her major life forces.
Yeah, she spoke to that. So you say that ART is now kind of a pipeline for the Tonys, but there's been some criticism over that. Why? I mean, what's wrong with that?
Well, there is criticism that a regional theater shouldn't necessarily be getting into the commercial business of sending shows to Broadway. I take exception with that because this is, well, 1 or 2 cases in this example of a show per season. But at the same time, it has changed the profile for the American Repertory Theater across the country. It has been known now, and it did send shows to New York back in the 80s as well, so this is nothing completely revolutionary. It's just sending really good shows. And I think you also have to contrast that with, yes, it might be sending these shows that go on to big commercial endeavors with a big star like Bryan Cranston at the helm, but also my favorite show of the year at the ART was actually The Moves She Makes, which we talked, or The Shape She Makes, which is just the simplest theater piece without all of the artifices of stage and craft, and it was just actors on a stage. So the ART has not compromised their artistic vocabulary in also working on these types of pieces.
Plus, it's great. Puts them on the map, Boston, everybody else.
It makes it very exciting in this town, I think.
Yeah. So what do you got tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow, speaking of exciting, there's an arts report coming out by Arts Boston, which is a major arts organization in this city, and it's looking at the impact of arts in this region and in this economy. And we'll talk more about it tomorrow.
I'm anxious to see that because you know what Mayor Menino always said, the arts brings in 10 times more than all the sports teams combined.
Well, I'm not allowed to say until they release, but I've got
could be even bigger.
The understanding that I have is that it makes for a very vibrant community.
Yeah, that's great. All right, Jared Bowen, we look forward to that.